Some people call me the straight cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love.
Welcome to the Straight Cowboy build. This build is focused on pistols, light armor, and critical hits. This video will be divided into separate parts with timestamps in the description below. The gameplay in the background will consist of the first hour or so of the playthrough to demonstrate the build. First off, why the Straight Cowboy? Well, I took the build onto the multiplayer server and they called me the Gay Cowboy. So before we go on any further, I'd like to clarify that the shorts are simply necessary in the heat of the Mojave Desert, and all parts of the outfit are tactically necessary. So we go on to create our character, and now our special. 5 strength, 3 perception, 9 endurance, 1 charisma, 9 intelligence, 4 agility, and 9 luck. I found 5 strength to be the sweet spot for the purposes of weapon requirements. With an implant and the weapon handling perk, it gives you an effective strength of 8, allowing you to use the vast majority of weapons, barring specific heavy, melee, and unarmed weapons. Most of the desirable weapons have their threshold at 8, so that's what I wanted to hit. Perception is 3 to be bumped up to 6 with 2 ranks of intense training. It is only needed for the better criticals perk and is not necessary for anything else. If you do not need the perk, you can lower it and spend it elsewhere. Endurance is necessary for it to be at 9 to take implants. No special stats are greater than 9 in order to benefit from picking up every single implant. Charisma is our dump stat, as we can raise the necessary barter and speech skills through level ups. Intelligence is at 9 to get every single skill point. This will be brought up to 10 through an implant before our first level up, so it will be no issue to have it at 9 for now. We will start at 4 agility, as with small frame and an implant, it will be brought up to 6. This is necessary for the silent running and light touch perks. 9 luck for the benefits to critical hits, as well as to make ridiculous amounts of caps. I speak to him and choose my skills. Guns, lockpicking, and repair. Guns are not strictly necessary, as you could specialize in energy weapons. The laser commander perk and guns like Pew Pew make a critical build viable for energy weapons. Lockpicking and repair are useful, though you can always replace them with skills you want to use more. Repair is useful for the build to destroy trait. Build to destroy is necessary to maximize critical chance, and small frame to pick up the additional agility point. The extra limb damage can be negated by finishing the tough guy challenge or picking up the adamantium skeleton perk. I finish up with Doc Mitchell, put away all my career stash stuff, and proceed to New Vegas. We're going to be traveling the route from the Yangtze Memorial to Neil's Shack, up the mountains to Repcon headquarters, and then through Freeside's North Gate. Here I approach the New Vegas Medical Clinic just to have the fast travel point to come back to later. Our goal is to pick up the Intelligence implant for 4,000 caps before our first level up. Since Intelligence affects the number of available skill points per level up, getting the implant before we level up is vital. I go to the Atomic Wrangler to gamble up to the necessary 4,000 chips, crouch in the corner to stay hidden, and then pick up some free caps. After talking to the cashier, now onto Blackjack. I don't actually know how to play Blackjack. Honestly, all that adding up to 21 really goes over my head. Just double down every time and you're surely about to win since you have 9 luck. Just quick save before though, just in case. Take your payout in caps and go up to the Strip North Gate to submit to the credit check. And now onto our Intelligence implant. After our surgery, we now have to acquire our outfit. First is the prostitute outfit. We go to the Strip and buy Silence 22 pistol and ammo from Mr. Holdout. This will be important for not only our outfit but later on our weapon as well. Make sure you quick save before you enter the Gomorrah. Go through the right and take the elevators down to Lower Brimstone. This is the ideal place for an ambush. However, she didn't spawn with the right clothes. You can reload from the safe outside of Gomorrah to have a new actor spawn. Once you find one with the prostitute outfit, not to be confused with the chained or exposed variants, crouching past the double doors is the perfect opportunity to stay hidden. Don't feel too bad, as these generic unnamed characters all respawn. And now onto the hat. Our goal is Eulogy Jones' hat. This spawns on Rotface. He's found outside of Mick and Ralph's. The idea is to buy tips from him, exactly 11 times. After you're done with that, go and buy a helmet to reverse pickpocket onto him. Since his hat should have no damage threshold, any helmet should work. I buy a reinforced metal helmet since it was the most convenient, but if you're more economical, you can always take a helmet off of some dead fiends or whatnot. Upon returning to the area, you'll find Rawface with his new hat, soon to be ours. Hide in the corner, quick save, and wait until you go hidden. Reverse pickpocket the helmet into his inventory and leave the area and come back. Now he should be wearing your helmet, and you can now repeat the process to pick up his hat. Depending on your sneak skill, this may not be successful the first time. You can quick load until you are successful. Wow, look at that outfit. He sure looks like he means business. Well, for a man of such stature, you need a hand cannon befitting your status, and where better to get one than from an NCR Ranger. We head to Camp Golf to pick up Chief Hanlon's Ranger Sequoia. For weapons, we don't need to mess about with the reverse pickpocketing or whatnot. A handy trick with the 22 pistol will allow us to take their gun without turning them hostile. Make sure you quick save beforehand, since this is heavily reliant on VATS. First, shoot at him to get him aggressive so he pulls up the gun. Then simply queue up VATS shots on his gun, which will cause him to drop it. Immediately holster your gun and he should stop being hostile. There are no negative repercussions to this, and while I try to pick up his gun, he wants to start talking about lakes with me. Anyways, his gun is ours. If you do not have the necessary strength or gun skill to use it effectively, there are some alternatives to the Ranger Sequoia. If you have 55 speed, you can get Vance's 9mm submachine gun off of Pauline Winds. If you have 50 barter, you can get the Mysterious Magnum from the Lonesome Drifter. Barring all that, you can just steal that gun from the Dino Bite gift shop. It's a very easy lock, and if you don't have the necessary lockpick skill, Sunny Smiles gives you a free skill magazine if you talk to her about work. Now we have everything necessary for the build. Going forward, here are some perks that you'd want to pick up. Of note is the Professional, which gives extra damage to all criticals, as opposed to only sneak criticals as listed in its description. Better criticals, as noted earlier, requires an additional 2 points in intense training for perception. And lastly, all necessary perks are from the base game, except for Light Touch, which is from Dead Money. The ones in green are necessary for the build, while the ones in red are useful but could be replaced. Thanks for watching this Fallout New Vegas build video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe.